Welcome back to part 2 of our backyard transformation series. The crew turned our old screened-in deck into a 3-season sunroom in just 72 hours. But the timeline, the process, and a few small surprises along the way made the experience more interesting than we expected. This is the old screen deck that we converted into a 3-season sunroom and covered deck. It was definitely time for an upgrade. If you agree, hit that thumbs up and let me know. This is what the inside screened-in deck looked like before I started removing all the furniture and flooring, so the professionals could come in and begin the demo for the sunroom. You can see this flooring has been here for years. After removing all the furniture, this is the last thing I pulled out myself before the professionals arrived. Have you ever looked at a space in your home and thought, this could be so much more? Drop a comment. What space would you transform if you could? Here, I'm sweeping the space. There was so much dust under that old rug. You know what? I'm not sure why I was even sweeping up when the crew was coming the next day to start the demo. Oh well. The space is now ready for the crew to come in and get started. This is the part I could not do myself. What you're watching right now is the first day. The crew made this look so easy, but trust me, it wasn't. When I moved into this house 10 years ago, only a deck existed and I had the deck screened in. If I remember correctly, I paid about $3,500 at that time. Sunroom or covered deck? If you had to choose one, which would it be? It rained part of the next day, so the crew had to come back later in the day, but I took advantage of this opportunity to power wash the deck. Here is where it starts looking like something. The framing is going in and you can already see the bones of what will become the 3-season sunroom. You see this right here? We had part of our siding replaced, but that didn't go too well. I'll show you what happened later on. One decision that I had to make early was, how do I divide a sunroom from a covered deck in one continuous space? And here's what I chose. The roof and 4 walls are up in the sunroom, and now the covered deck is starting to come together. Here they are installing the railings. At this point, I saw my vision finally coming together. This is how I designed it in my head. Do you remember what the old screened-in deck looked like? If not, here's a reminder. And here we are, the 3-season sunroom covered deck combo. Are you ready to go inside? Before we go inside, let's take a look at what the space looked like before the transformation. And here is the inside of the new 3-season sunroom that leads out to the covered deck. It's a small 90 square feet space, just enough for relaxing. Here's another shot of what the outside looks like. So, what do you guys think? What would you have done differently? Let me know in the comments below. The rain did delay the project a little, then the crew had to come back out and do some fixes, like fixing the window that wasn't functioning properly. After replacing the old siding, there were some soft spots in the new siding, so they had to come back out, replace that one with a new piece, and then repaint it. As part of the project, we also had this gutter installed, and then I discovered the water wasn't draining out the gutter, so they had to come back out and fix it. I've never done such a major home project, so this constant revisits were quite annoying. This was definitely a lesson learned for me when it comes to doing major home projects. The next project will be to screen in part of this patio. Then we have to stain and seal the concrete. If you have any tips or advice, let me know in the comments below. I'll probably have to wait until the pollen season ends for that, because pollen is my arch enemy. By the way, if you haven't seen the first video in our backyard transformation series, where we turned our ugly slope yard into this usable space, I'll put a link to that video in the description of this video. Be sure to come back to check out the step-by-step process of this full backyard transformation. See you in the next video.